Jenny, are you there? Can we talk?
Oh, hello, Cynthia, was it? I'm on my company break now, so I'm okay for 10 minutes or so.
Oh, I see. You're talking to your future, possible mother-in-law, and you give me a time limit to talk?
That has nothing to do with it. It's just that this is the only opportunity for a little free time. I'm really busy the rest of the day. I need this break.
But if you are going to get along with me in the future, I recommend that you make me your priority.
I really can't make such a promise.
Excuse me?
Anyway, what's this about? I don't have much time left on my break. I have to shut off my phone when my break ends, so I would appreciate it if you could get on with it.
Your precious little break, huh? All right. Well, your attitude is part of it too, so yes, let's get on with it. I'm contacting you because, well, I want you to quit your job.
Pardon me?
I said, if you want to marry my son, I want you to quit your job.
Why should I do that?
Because it would interfere with you being a good housewife. That's why. If you can't do that, well, I will not allow you to marry my son. I would ask you to terminate the relationship.
That's being a little selfish, wouldn't you say?
It's that, or you're gone. I will not change my views.
I really don't think Brad agrees to this. I mean, he has a say in this too.
Brad has nothing to do with it. If I say no, he'll go along with it without question.
Are you serious?
Yes, of course I am. I know my son. Brad has always been obedient. He cares for his mother and father. Although I was surprised that he picked a woman like you. But I'm sure you talked him into all this. I don't know what you said to him, but I know you probably tricked him. I'm sure if I have a little talk with him, he'll realize his mistake.
Do you really think I tricked Brad into loving me? Why would I even do that?
Oh, please, just pipe down, would you? I don't want to hear any more of your back talk. I was right. You really need more discipline if you're going to marry my son. I will allow you to marry my son if you agree to quit your job and have me train you to be a good housewife. If you can't do that, I will not give my blessing to this marriage.
I'm sorry, my client just arrived. I have to go. We'll talk later.
Huh? What? Wait a second, Jenny. Just have the guy wait. This is more important. Didn't I just say to give your future mother-in-law top priority? Jenny, pick up. You will regret treating me like this.
Hey, Brad, when do you think I should tell your mom about my job?
I'm not sure. I guess it all depends on your dad's situation. Hey, did Mom contact you and say something?
Yeah, she said if I didn't quit my job, she wouldn't allow me to marry you.
Wait, what?
Maybe you should take a look at my line conversation with her today. Probably way faster. I'll send that portion to you.
Alright, go for it. Oh my god, what the hell is this? Doesn't she realize what kind of trouble we'd be in if you quit your job? Besides, I'm the one marrying you, not her. It's what I want.
Thanks for that, Brad. Makes me feel way better. But no matter what she says, there's no way I'm going to quit my job. Or should I say, it's impossible.
Yeah, well, I guess she doesn't know all the details, so she'll say what she wants.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We're just two people who fell in love and plan to get married. But it's really not that simple. There's that little point about your father that makes it complicated.
Yeah, I know. I really didn't want to tell my mom about it so soon, but she brought up the thing about introducing this girl. My mom, the great matchmaker. She was always trying to introduce me to one prospective wife or another. Anyways, it all depends on my dad, I suppose.
Maybe we should sit down with your dad sometime soon and discuss this. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe we have no other choice. The situation between you and Mom is getting way out of hand. Probably better to straighten this thing out ASAP.
Yeah, let's do that. Thanks, Brad.
Jenny, are you there? Or are you on your break and you can't talk? Just so you know, I called your office and told them that you'll be retiring from the company.
Excuse me?
I recently came into some interesting information. Apparently, you work for a company that does business with my husband's company. Is that true?
Where did...
This makes everything way easier. I told them all the negative aspects that I learned about you ever since Brad brought you home. I told them straight up, if you don't fire her right this minute, my husband will terminate all accounts with your company.
Hold on a second. What did you just say? What's going on? Mother? Why go so far?
My husband's company is one of the biggest and most influential companies around here. I figured your company was a mere subcontracting company, and you're just a lowly desk clerk. I'm right, aren't I? I'm sure the company HR department will contact you pretty soon, so you better be ready to accept the consequences. If you had just obeyed my request, I wouldn't have taken it this far.
Mother, I really don't know what you're talking about.
Now come on, Jenny. Look at the bright side. Now that you have no job, you can marry Brad, and I can start teaching you how to be a good housewife. What more can you ask for? I did you a favor.
I can't understand why you would go so far to make me quit.
It's for your own good.
Okay then, I guess I'll just have to terminate all negotiations with your husband's company.
Pardon me?
Cynthia, I know you've never worked a day in your life. I think that fact has worked to your disadvantage.
What are you talking about?
I have no problem with you being a full-time housewife and mother, don't get me wrong. But just because your husband owns a company doesn't give you the right to chime in regarding business matters. And I have to be honest, what you just did, that's blackmail. And you did it without even understanding the circumstances.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. After all that, you still talk like that. Well, that means I'm going to have to give you an even tougher curriculum. You better be ready for lots of sleepless nights.
I think it's going to be you who won't sleep well moving forward.
Excuse me?
I'm not sure how you'll take this. Will you just sulk and give up, or will you deem this as a lesson learned and change your ways? Which will it be? It's all up to you, Cynthia.
I'm sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. I can't understand you, Jenny. Why can't you make a little bit more sense and accept who you are? Jenny, pick up right this minute. We have to talk. What am I going to do? My husband just asked me for a divorce. He said that in order for the company to avoid bankruptcy, I'm an impediment. He said I would drag the company down. On top of that, he said that you're the CEO of the company my husband is working with. That can't be right, can it? Apparently, your company is way bigger and more influential than my husband's.
Yes, that's right. I really hate comparing our respective companies. You know which is bigger or more influential. We all have our good points and bad points, but your husband's company is currently on the verge of bankruptcy. And with the loss of a major client, that may be inevitable.
Why? Why did things end up this way?
I would ask you the same question, Cynthia. Why?
I really don't know.
It's because you've been obsessed with status. Brad was slated to take over from your husband someday as president. You figured you were the head of the family, as if you were the first lady, so to speak. You even used the employees of the company as your own personal staff, ordering employees to pick you up in the company car and take you shopping or to a luncheon with friends. I heard you even had employees come to your house to clean up and cook. Some even complained that you yelled at them, demanding that they take priority for you rather than the company. As a result, several key employees ended up resigning. The company was left with an inadequate workforce. They were not able to continue projects that were prematurely postponed due to the resignation of some of those key project managers. Well, subsequently, it had adverse effects on some of the company's major projects.
But I was only trying to...
Many of those major clients had no other choice but to terminate their contracts due to lack of progress. That's where my company stepped in. We looked over the finances and future potential of the company and decided to acquire the company. Simply put, we bought you out.
Bought us out? You mean your company purchased my husband's company? You own our company?
Yes. I won't get into the details regarding the negotiations, but some aspects of your husband's company, such as experience and connections in the industry, would be an advantage to us. Your husband made the decision to sell the company to us rather than see it go bankrupt. I think it was a very hard decision for him, but it was the right one in my opinion.
Bankrupt? Bought out? What's going on?
I'm sure your husband kept this all from you because he knew you would do something stupid to disrupt negotiations.
He kept that from me?
I'm sure you noticed that company employees have ignored your requests lately. Your husband already puts the gears into motion. It was only a matter of time before he was no longer the owner. So he told his employees to pay no attention to you, to just ignore you.
He did that?
We conducted negotiations numerous times over the last several months. It involved your husband, Brad, who was slated to take over the company, as well as me and my top executives. In the end, your husband opted to sell the company rather than see it go bankrupt. As for Brad, we decided that he would take over as vice president of the newly formed company, a subsidiary of my company.
Brad is going to be vice president of this company? And who's going to be the CEO of this company?
That would be me, for now.
Well, it should be Brad!
That was not solely my decision. It was voted on by the board of members, a sound business strategy. Well, during this time, Brad and I started seeing each other on occasion. First, it was all business, but gradually we got to know each other. Well, you know the rest. And that's where we are right now.
If that's the case, could you talk to my husband and ask him to rethink this divorce?
You want me to persuade him?
Yes, that's right. It's the least you can do for me. If you do that, I'll let you work for however long you want, and we can forget all about that housewife training, and I'll give you permission to marry my son Brad. What do you say?
I don't need your permission to keep working or to marry Brad. I'll do as I please.
Pardon me? How could you say that?
I wish you would get this through your head that you have no power to change any of this.
Please, Jenny, don't be that way. Listen to me.
I believe your lawyer is on the way to discuss your divorce. You're probably pretty busy, so I better get going. Bye! Two months later, we welcomed some new staff members to our company. Several members from the newly acquired company and our team started working together, and things got off to a great start. As for Cynthia, The divorce proceedings went through without a hitch, with her husband providing her with a reasonable financial package, and even introducing her to a fairly good employment opportunity, but on her first day on the job, she took an overly long lunch break without permission and got fired on the spot. She's never worked a proper job before and does not possess any sort of work ethic, it seems. So all she had to live on was her modest divorce money, but that hit rock bottom pretty quick. She ended up coming to me and Brad for help, but Brad brushed her off. She had no choice left but to return to her parents' place in the country. I hear she's living in some beat-up apartment there, working at some local grocery store, trying to make ends meet.
Hey, Shiloh. It's been such a long time. How have you been, sweetie? Is little Tommy okay? Huh? Is this Allison? Bryce from kindergarten's mom, right? Hey, long time no see. It must have been, what, over 10 months since our kids left kindergarten? Feels like forever. I know, right? Time sure does fly, huh? Anyway, did you see all the snow? The snow? Oh yeah, now that you mention it, I did hear something about some snow. Is there a lot? Now that you mention it, what the hell? There's tons of the stuff. Sorry, I only heard about it through a friend, so I can't exactly say I've seen it. Come on, Shiloh. You're not some hermit shut-in who lives under a rock, are you? Well, I'm not, but I do work remotely, which means I probably spend a lot more time at home than the average person. Actually, I always have to remind myself how important it is to go outside every now and then for the sake of my health. Fresh air is essential. Exactly! Especially for children. They're creatures of the outdoors. You really should be careful not to keep that little Tommy indoors too much. He's small enough as it is without having a vitamin D deficiency to deal with, too. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, let's get down to business. Today's the first major snowfall we've had around here in years. It's been falling non-stop, and it's piling up like you wouldn't believe. Which is why we're having a snowball fight tomorrow morning. Oh, really? That sounds like a blast. Right? We'll be borrowing your backyard for the venue. Huh? Excuse me? My backyard? Yes, it's so big that you even have a doggy play area and some soccer goals for the kids. Isn't that right? We could probably throw snowballs all day with a small army of us and still never run out of ammo. Maybe so, back when we actually lived there. But we moved out a while ago. Oh, you did? Oh, well, it's not like that really matters. Of course it matters. How could it not matter when it's not my house anymore? You have to get permission from the new owner first. The new owner? Fine. Go ahead and let your husband know then. What? What does my husband have to do with anything? He doesn't live there anymore either. You need permission from the actual owner. Enough of this. I have more important things to attend to. But I just want to say a big thanks, Shiloh. We're all so excited for tomorrow. Toodles! No, Allison, wait. What the heck? Are you serious? You still seem to think we live there despite me having told you we don't. Are you going to show up at my old house in the morning? We moved a few months back when my daughter graduated kindergarten, which means it doesn't belong to us anymore. It has a new owner, and you can't just invite yourself into their yard for a snowball fight. You can ask for mine and my husband's permission till the cows come home, but since we no longer have anything to do with the place, you're wasting your time. Please at least make sure you knock on their door first and see how they feel about this. You aren't even reading my messages. Anyway, asking me for permission to use a yard that no longer belongs to me is meaningless. Please read these messages before you go and do something you regret. Hey sis, good evening. Sorry to message you so late. Are you free right now? Hey Shiloh, sure, what's up? Sorry to be a burden, but I was wondering if you wouldn't mind checking something for me. I need confirmation on something. Confirmation? What is it? It's about mine and Stewie's old house. Do you know whether there's someone new living there yet? You mean like, did someone else move in? I'm not really sure. I don't tend to go to that part of town anymore, so it's hard to say. I've probably been there twice at most since you moved out all those months back. And I'm sorry to say, but I wasn't really paying attention to your old house. Okay, that's fair enough. Anyway, what's all this about? Did you leave something behind? No, it's not that. Here's the thing. The mom of one of the boys from Tommy's class back in kindergarten has taken it upon herself to arrange a snowball fight in the yard of my old house under the assumption that it still belongs to me. What? People actually do that kind of thing? She's absolutely convinced that we still live there. I tried my best to explain that we don't, but she stopped responding to my messages, and I'm concerned she's gonna get herself and her whole family in trouble. Oh dear. Her name's Allison, and her son's called Bryce. He was friends with my Tommy in kindergarten. She always had a reputation for being a bit of a trouble causer back then. I did my best not to let myself get too involved with her at the time, and ironically, we didn't have any problems back when our kids actually played together most days. Who would have thought she'd be causing me this much hassle 10 months down the line after moving house? My husband just got back from work. He passes through that area most days on his ways to the office, so maybe he'll know something we don't. Give me a minute. I'm gonna go ask him. Okay, thanks. Hey, sorry I kept you waiting. So what did he say? As far as he can tell, the house is still empty. So no one else moved in yet then? He said he can't say for definite, but he says it always seems to be locked. The curtains are always closed, and he doesn't get the feeling people are living there. I see. But in that case, I wonder if that means it's being managed by the real estate agent. Besides, the fence is pretty high, so I doubt anyone could get in without going to some serious effort. Yeah, I think you're right on both points. How about getting in touch with the real estate agent just in case? Good idea. I'll give them a call as soon as they open tomorrow morning. Thanks, sis. I'm really sorry to message you this late. I know you have to be up early for work. Don't be silly. I'm happy to help, Shiloh. Hopefully we can prevent this crazy Allison woman from doing anything illegal. Speak later. See ya, sis. Thanks a bunch. Sweet dreams.
Shiloh, answer your phone! Would you mind explaining what on earth is going on here? Some strange family I've never seen before came out of nowhere and started yelling at us. They asked us what we were doing in their yard and threatened to call the police.
Good morning, Allison. It would appear you're in quite the mess, huh?
You don't say, Captain Obvious. What's going on? Explain now.
How many times did I tell you that it was no good getting permission from me because it's not my house anymore?
I don't know anything about that. It's the first I've heard of it. Who were those people? Oh my god, the police are here. They actually called them.
For the time being, I think it's probably best you focus on the predicament you're in. Good luck.
Wait, Shiloh? Please tell me why this is happening. Shiloh! How could you do this to me? Why didn't you tell me you'd family planned on showing up at your old house for a snowball fight, and you just let me! Shiloh, I'm talking to you! Woman, answer me!
Hi again, Allison. I just got off the phone with the real estate agent. They told me everything. About how you showed up first thing in the morning with your own ladder and climbed over the tall fence very clearly designed to keep out intruders, before undoing the locks from the inside and letting in, as you put it before, a small army of your friends and family. Next, as if running around tossing snowballs at each other on someone else's property wasn't enough, you decided to light a bonfire on their lawn and roast marshmallows for everyone while you were at it. Then, the family scheduled to move in today arrived amidst the chaos. They were so horrified when they saw a gang of complete strangers running around like lunatics in their new yard that they reported you to the police. You know what you did is called, don't you, Allison? Trespassing.
Like I already told you, I had no idea. It's your fault for not telling me in the first place. How was I supposed to know? Do you think I'm psychic?
You don't need to be able to bend spoons with your mind to read my messages. I told you enough times.
No, you did not.
Why don't you try looking through our chat history then? Scroll through yesterday's messages and you'll see it's all there. I didn't just tell you once either.
Oh my god, I didn't see that yesterday. I stopped reading them before you told me the important bits. Why didn't you mention it earlier? What you did was as good as not telling me.
Don't be so ridiculous. What else could I do? Do you have no concept of personal responsibility? You illegally entered someone's property after I told you very clearly you'd be doing just that. Then you stopped reading my messages, which would have prevented you from being arrested today because you had, quote, more important things to attend to.
Enough of your harping on. Do something. Get me out of this mess. I don't want to get arrested.
Do something? What could I possibly do for you?
My husband just told me he's divorcing me.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
He threatened to divorce me just last month if I ever did anything to cause him trouble again.
Wow, last month? Really? So you knew you were on thin ice and you did this anyway? You were so committed to your illegal snowball fight that you were willing to throw away your marriage over it? I hope the marshmallows were tasty at least.
I never knew this would happen. I just thought it would be a fun day for the kids.
I actually thought you'd take responsibility when you read my messages and realized what you'd done. How foolish of me. It would appear you're delusional beyond help.
How horrible.
Isn't this the natural conclusion of you completely disregarding my warnings? How am I horrible? I tried to prevent this.
I'm begging you. Please convince my husband.
Convince him of what?
Tell him I have permission to use the yard, please.
For the 7 millionth time. Me and my family moved out of that house months ago, which means asking us for permission to use the yard is meaningless.
Why?
Because it belongs to the family who just called the police on you.
Please just do something. This isn't a joke. I could be in serious trouble here.
Clean up the mess you made yourself. You thought you'd spend today roasting marshmallows, but it turns out the only one getting roasted is you.
Ah!
To give a brief summary on what happened to Allison after the whole trespassing incident, compensation for the total wrecking of that poor family's new yard, among other things, was settled out of court with Allison's husband, who very kindly agreed to lend his wife the money. However, he was absolutely furious, and he'd already filed for a divorce before the day was up. Citing her dangerous antisocial behavior, the judge deemed Allison to be unfit to have custody of their son, and so Bryce went to live with her husband. Afterwards, she did try moving back in with her parents, But apparently, they'd already received word of what happened through several relatives, also furious, who she took along that day, completely unaware that they were breaking the law. As a result, no one in her family, parents, siblings, even distant relatives, wanted anything further to do with her. Naturally, in her mind, I was the one responsible for all of this. And I got several threatening messages demanding I pay her compensation to make up for it. Isn't the block feature just the best? Last I heard, she's currently working like a dog to keep up with the compensation she owes for wrecking the yard and the child support she owes her ex-husband. Can you imagine a bigger nuisance than her? It's hard to believe she's actually a real person. I learn something new about the world every day.